Beautiful day, unlimited sparkle. Thank you so much for being here. You're watching Live Unbound with Liv Kisper, and this is a very special video that I'm going to be filming today for you. It's basically about questions and answers. I got some questions from my Patreon, from my Patreons through my Patreon page, and I would love to do these videos every month at least to stay more in touch with you and to see what you are really curious about, to connect more. And I was lucky to have two people submitting questions this month for the first round, and really great questions. So I'm going to go ahead and just start answering them. And I also wanted to say the more questions, if there is more in future, then I will probably go less in depth. But today it's not so many, so I can go more in depth a little bit. And the first round of questions that I got is from Jennifer. So thank you so much, Jennifer. And she's asking, what got me interested in transpersonal psychology? The truth is, what got me interested in psychology, transpersonal psychology, was actually my teacher. Because when I was doing my undergrad on, regular psychology, we had a special teacher, and he was teaching the psychology of exceptional human experience. And that got me super intrigued because it was very special, like no other psychology colleges had anything like that, or most, it just wasn't very common. And he was talking about mystical experiences and spirituality and out-of-body experiences and lucid dreaming, meditation, psychedelics, and wow, that was so amazing that we had this at college, at the university. And there was a point where we actually did a project with him. We wrote a research paper about precognition in dreams, and we got our university to pay us to go to Brazil and actually do a little project in there, a little documentary about our experience in Brazil participating in shamanic ceremonies. And that was such an amazing idea. So basically our university paid us to take some psychedelic medicine with some shamans over in Brazil and then come back. And we actually never got to finish that project, but we had an amazing experience and we got to know our teacher. And yeah, he was talking about transpersonal psychology because that was his background, and he also taught that on other university as a master's. So I thought, yeah, that's my next step. I was so confused. I didn't know what to do. What am I going to do with psychology degree? So that's why I got interested in transpersonal psychology. And really, it wasn't so much about transpersonal psychology as much as that experience, just being surrounded by really interesting people, and doing something interesting in my life. So I hope that answers your life. I hope that answers your question. I don't know. I feel nervous, I have to admit, because this is my first time doing no excuses. I feel nervous, period. I hope it's okay. The second question that I got from Jennifer is, what kind of things do you do for fun or to unwind? I love doing anything that's really inspiring my soul, like dancing and singing and just playing on the beach. Very simple things. I usually don't have big attention span for socializing, so when I go out, socialize, it's very quick. I usually come with some project or with some interesting questions. I love adventure, and to me adventure is not just about hiking and exploring different places. It's also exploring people and really getting to know them. I just love doing that for fun more than anything. And yes, I love swimming in the ocean, just talking around the fire. I love hanging out with my dog. I love having intimate nights with my boyfriend, reading. I love what I do. I love coaching. Every time I coach someone, it's I feel just that's the ultimate fun for me, essentially. And I love making videos as well. That's also fun. Yeah, I can't think of anything to do that I do to unwind from what? From all that amazing stuff that I'm doing in my life, just playing in the nature and with amazing people and pursuing my purpose. And yeah, I can't think of anything. Maybe, I do contact dancing as well. Well, that's also dancing. I love ecstatic dancing. unwind. Yeah, I do meditation in the morning. I do reading. What else? I love challenging myself. That's probably the most I do for fun. So I hope that maybe that answered your questions. I hope. And let's move to the second person. The second person, I don't know if it's a she or a he, got a beautiful name, Vaguely Prose. So thank you, Vaguely Prose, for submitting your questions. And they're asking, how did you come to know that you needed to be a healer? Well, first, I don't need to be a healer. And I think that question would only be asked by someone who is a healer, or maybe who doesn't know yet that she or he is a healer. To me, yeah, I don't need to be a healer. I love doing what I do. I wouldn't say that I'm healing people, because I don't really believe there is anything wrong with anyone. I'm a coach, so what I love doing is I just interrupt people's stories in a powerful conversation, and that changes everything, and that also heals everything, and everyone has that healing power within themselves. I don't actually believe I have to do something to them. Everyone can heal themselves if they have open mind to that. So, and also the second part, was there an inciting event that led to a spontaneous revelation that this is what you have to do with your life, or have you seemingly always known? I think that maybe I have always known, because I was growing up, I was always really interested in, in the human mind, and my friends were always coming to me and asking for advice, and I was always advising them about relationships. I was always this person to go to. But later, as I was, let's see if there was like a moment. There was so many moments I've had in my life, and maybe the first one that I remember that I really want to help people. I really can't remember. It's just part of who I am, and it's not who I am all the time. Sometimes I also run those stories and limiting thoughts. Hopefully, luckily not for enough, because I know how to go back into my true purpose and my truth outside of those stories. And when I am in my true nature, which is just love and service, then I have always known. And it's not like I'm trying to do that. It's not like I'm trying to help people. It's not like I'm trying to heal someone. It's more like I can't do anything else. Like that is just so satisfying. It's just like that's what wants to come out. So I hope that answers you too. Vaguely Prose. I love that name. And the second question from you I got is, what role does music play in your life? Are there any musical artists or genres that currently have your attention? And would you recommend anything in particular, and why? I love music. I just love music. I was just playing, we were just singing around a fire yesterday with the guitar, and I haven't done it for a while. So I was just getting really into it, but just I love expressing in that way. I just love intensity, and when I feel inspired, when I can rekindle that fire, that flame that I have inside of me. But I also love listening to music. And maybe if you want, I can leave you some of my playlists in the description of this video on Spotify, because pretty much I listen mostly to Spotify, and I've created some playlists. And the music I love listening to are some very relaxing tracks or kind of chill out tracks. There's some dance music, but not too many. Most of them are electronic music. I love really, to me it's like I love deep bass in music. I can't say I have any special artists that I could recommend. I just love deep bass and soft feminine sounds to accompany that. And it can be in any kind of, in any mixture. But yeah, if I just leave you the link for my playlist, you can listen to what I'm listening to. That probably will explain it will probably answer your question the best. And let's see what else. What was one of the best pieces of advice that you ignored in your earlier years and later came to realize had great value and wisdom? When I read that question, the first thing that comes to my mind, it's not actually just a piece of advice. What comes to me is a book that I read some years ago, and it was by Katie Byron, called The Work. And I read it because it was recommended by someone. But I read it, and there was this, it was 4 questions, and it was this inquiry, deep inquiry work. And so I read it with my mind, and I answered these questions with my mind because I wasn't really sure what is the difference between my mind and my true self at that point. So I was like, yeah, well, I don't know, it's pretty cool, good idea, but it's not working for me. And then after my spiritual awakening a couple of years ago that I had, and I described in one of my videos, I revisited this book because actually my coach sent me her audiobook, and he was like, you just have to listen to this. And I was like, oh, I've already read it, but okay, I listened to it. And oh my God, it was like the most amazing thing I've ever heard. It resonated so deeply that I was crying throughout the whole book because I was also doing some of my deep inquiry at that moment. And so I just went straight into that. And that led me also to go and study with Katie Byron. So she's my most beloved teacher. So I can really facilitate others in this work, which is so simple. And actually, in my coaching, I not only help people to go beyond their stories and limitations, but I teach them how to really do that, how to find that true voice from within by using inner inquiry. So they don't have to be dependent on me when we finish our coaching. And I think that's just like so amazing. Then people can find that they have everything what they need inside of them. They just need maybe sometime a little, someone who shows them how to do really well. So that's integrated inside, and I have Katie Byron inside of me, as well as many other teachers that have made a huge influence in my life. And I would say, teachers don't just appear. They say teachers appear when we are ready. And I can say that's so true because it really, the first time I read it didn't resonate, didn't get it really. What else do we have in here? What was the most oppressive myth of your upbringing that was liberating to release? I would say anything that has to do with believing I'm separate and powerless and I can't do anything about it. Things are happening to me. All are just stories. So the most oppressive myth is that I'm not, how would I even put it into words? Or maybe just believing my mind. Believing my mind, not knowing how to question my mind, how to question my stories. I would say that's, I don't know if it's a myth. But finding my true voice that I didn't know there was. Because I was believing what everyone else was saying, all the people I was looking up to. I believed that, they had all these evidence and they had all these reasons to be right. So I felt helpless. And finally, luckily, that's over completely. Because I know how to find the truth from within each time. And this is what I want for everybody else. So, and there is two more questions. The state of your house and your approach to food preparation often seems well structured in your videos. Do you have any advice for people who experience difficulty with fostering discipline and mindfulness towards mundane domestic tasks? You should see my house right now. I do prepare it when I make video. Sometimes my house can be a little messy. But yes, I love preparing food, and I love eating slow. Not because I'm supposed to eat slow, just because I love to taste food. And I also like to connect with food in that way. And so there is no really discipline to me, I don't have to be disciplining myself, like try to prepare my food and eat slow or eat more consciously. It just comes from having a vision that I'm inspired by. And that vision is just health and compassion and just being with what is in that moment. And so I'm being very present with my food. Often I don't even like having dinners with people, or I just order food, eat, and then go for dinner. So I don't have to be eating while I'm talking to people, because I really love being present with whatever is in front of me. So if it's food, I'm noticing all these stories that are coming through my mind and what I'm thinking about, and just coming back and really appreciating food. And the more I'm appreciating food or preparation of food, the more I become present how amazing it is, and the more simple it becomes. The more simple it becomes, like like a piece of watermelon is just such a simplicity, and I can really savor it, or I can prepare a very simple meal, which would be maybe half raw and half cooked, like the noodles I did, and it's very simple. I don't spend too much time on cooking, but yeah, I just love fresh and anything that's alive, and that's just tastes good to me. And it's really not about the food as much, it's really what I'm thinking about it while I'm eating. And so I want to feel good about it. I want to have good thoughts while I'm eating and really enjoying that. So, and around the domestic tasks, mindfulness towards domestic tasks, I can talk about washing the dishes. I used to really didn't like washing the dishes. I would just like leave the pile in there, that it would bother me because I couldn't really find any plates and anything. And then I've heard someone saying that you actually don't have to do this whole pile of dishes. You're only doing one plate at a time. And that's like everything. There's only one moment, always. There's only one moment every time. There's only now. So when I imagine I have to do these whole dishes, it feels like overwhelming and I don't want to do it. But I'll just do one plate at a time, and that's inspiring, and that's the attitude I have towards my domestic tasks. And also I feel that sometimes when I have when my room and my house is messy, then also like there's a bit of mess inside of my mind. So I love just clearing that on the outside and clearing that on the inside, outside, because that makes me feel better and more organized, just knowing what's important and having clear vision, being more clear around things. And that's just transformed my mundane domestic tasks to something that I enjoy and that I'm looking forward to, if I do. So, last question from Vaguely Prose is, why do you think that women, or the feminine aspect of particular, experiences specific challenges with self-disempowerment and the tendency to fall victim to the elusive fantasy of perfection? That's a very good question. And I would say it's both for men and women, but I can speak from my female perspective, which I can resonate with better. And I think that women, we try to source our we don't know how to source our security from within. So we end up pleasing other people, and we abandon our authentic yes and no, and our boundaries, and just performing. We're performing all the time, every day, just smiling when we don't feel smiling, just to be liked. And when that happens, when we try to be liked, we try to be perfect to be liked. And what happens is that underneath are all those stories that running, that we're not good enough, or maybe we're not lovable enough. And essentially, deep inside is that we cannot be alone. We don't like being alone. We always want to be part of something and someone, and looking for that love and appreciation and security from someone else than within ourselves. And the reason why we can't be alone is because when we are alone, we are left alone with our own inner thoughts and stories. And so whenever we get into a car, we want to listen to music, and we want to have friends around, we want to have a boyfriend who provides the security, and we will do anything. We need to be perfect. We need to be good. We need to look good. And yeah, we betray ourselves inside. We abandon ourselves inside. I've done a bunch of that. That's why I used to have so many panic attacks, anxiety attacks. And I was so clingy and needy, and I just wanted to be with someone. Even when I wasn't, I would be alone and miserable because I just couldn't be alone. And now, if I'm alone or if I'm in a relationship with someone, it makes no difference, really. Because when you feel alone, if you don't know how to transform or question those stories that you have in your life, in your mind, then you will never be comfortable being with yourself and being alone, and always looking for that outside. So I hope that this answers your question. It all comes to just thinking, because the most important relationship is with you, and that means with your thoughts, with your thinking. And most of the time we're not even aware of what we're thinking, we just feel something, and all the feelings, all the emotions are caused by those thoughts deep inside. So there is nothing that is stopping us from coming back to our home, coming back to myself, to my truth, if I know how to question my mind. And for many people, we're not taught to do that. We don't know how to do that. So we're just looking constantly like who's doing something that's wow, like how to be successful. Let's look outside at other people, what they're doing. And it's just not outside there. All the questions and all the answers are here and here. So thank you so much for these beautiful questions. I really loved all of these questions. And I hope that hopefully next month there will be even more questions, and let's see what kind of questions I'm gonna get next month. So thank you again so much, Jennifer and Vaguely Prose, and all my other patrons who didn't write any questions this time, but who continue to support me in these crazy endeavors, whatever they are, crazy videos that are getting a little bit crazier every time. But I really want to inspire to do the same, to just stop thinking about what everyone else is doing and just do your own thing, and messing up on the way, because essentially there is no such a thing as mistakes. So thank you for watching, and have a beautiful day.